Ever feel like you're trying to sip from a fire hose of information? You want to grasp the essentials, but without getting completely soaked.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
That's pretty much what we're all about here at the Deep Dive. We try to wade through the noise, pull out the golden nuggets from a whole pile of sources, and just give you the straight shot to being in the know.
And today, we're diving deep into something you're likely bumping into every day now, AI prompting.
Exactly. And we've pulled together a really interesting mix of materials for this one. We've got articles from like Grammarly AI tools, the researchers at dir.ai and deeplearning.ai.
And Atlassian too, right? The collaboration folks.
Yeah, them plus Section AI, and even a look at what people are actually sharing about their experiences on Reddit.
So our mission for you, the learner, is really to cut through all the hype and just give you a clear, practical handle on AI prompting.
Right. We want you to walk away knowing what it actually is, why it's suddenly such a big deal, and, how you can use it well.
Without getting bogged down in jargon or super technical stuff.
Okay, so let's get right to it then. When we talk about AI prompting, what are we actually talking about?
Well, in simple terms, prompting is basically giving instructions to an AI system, especially these chat bots, the conversational ones that are everywhere now.
Ah, okay.
Think of it like guiding the AI. You give it specific requests or questions to get the kind of information or output you actually need.
So if I'm using something like, I don't know, ChatGPT or Gemini, the prompt is just what I type into the box.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And what's really key here, and our sources really hit this point home, is that thoughtful prompting lets you have much more natural, more tailored interactions.
Okay.
Instead of needing to learn, like special codes or commands, you can use your normal, everyday language to steer the AI.
That feels like an important distinction, because I think maybe some people might still see it as just, another way to search Google or something.
That's a really great point to clear up. Prompting is definitely more involved than just a quick web search. It needs more context, more specific guidance.
Right.
And it's also not writing code. You're not directly programming the AI's core functions or anything like that.
Okay.
And it's certainly a step up from just like one-word commands you might use with Siri or Alexa, It's about having a more detailed, more nuanced conversation.
Okay, so we're clear on what it is, but why should we bother getting good at it? Why is effective prompting so important right now?
Well, our sources are pretty much all on the same page here. Good prompting is a huge time saver. It dramatically improves the quality, the relevance of what you get back from AI tools. And it's really crucial for, accuracy. If your instructions are kind of vague or fuzzy, the AI can easily misunderstand or give you information that's not really what you were looking for at all.
That makes sense. It's like if you give someone really unclear directions, you can't really be surprised if they end up miles away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you look at the bigger picture, the ability to write good prompts, it's fast becoming a really fundamental skill.
Really?
Yeah. As AI tools get more woven into our work, our personal lives, being able to talk clearly to these systems, that's going to be essential for almost everyone.
And here's something that really jumped out at me from the Reddit discussions. There's a strong feeling that even though the AI models themselves, the LLMs, are getting incredibly smart, the skill of actually crafting a good prompt still accounts for a surprisingly big chunk. Some people were saying maybe like a quarter of getting truly great results.
Wow. That's a fascinating insight, isn't it? Coming straight from the user community.
Yeah.
It really shows that even with super advanced AI, the human ability to give clear direction, that's still critical to unlocking its full power.
So, okay, what are the essential parts then? What actually makes a prompt effective?
Well, there are a few key components that always seem to come up. dir.ai, for instance, breaks it down into 4 core elements: instruction, context, input data, and output indicator.
Okay, instruction, context, input, output indicator, got it.
Right. The instruction is your specific command or question what you want the AI to do. Context is any extra background info that helps the AI understand your needs better.
Like who it's for or why you need it.
Exactly. Input data is the actual information you want the AI to process or work with. And the output indicator specifies, the format you want back, or the style, or maybe the length.
Can you maybe give us a quick example just to see how those 4 pieces fit together?
Sure. dir.ai uses a text classification example, something like, classify the text into neutral, negative, or positive. Text, I really enjoyed the movie. Sentiment.
Ah, good.
So here, classify the text is the instruction, I really enjoyed the movie, is the input data. And sentiment is the output indicator, telling it what kind of label you want. It's simple, but it shows how the parts guide the AI.
Okay, yeah, that clicks. And what about this parts framework? That kept popping up on Reddit. Sounded like a really handy sort of step-by-step way to build a prompt.
Oh yeah, parse.
Hmm.
That definitely got some traction there. It's a more, maybe, action-focused way to think about it. It's an acronym. Persona, action, requirements, situation, and examples.
PARSE, okay.
So you think about,
Oh.
who should the AI act as? That's the persona. What specific task should it do? That's the action.
Right.
Any must-haves or rules for the output. Those are requirements, the bigger picture, the context.
Yeah.
That's the situation. And then examples, providing samples if you have them to show what you want.
That sounds super practical. So instead of just saying, summarize this, you'd think, okay, persona, maybe act like my research assistant. Action, summarize key findings.
Right.
Requirements, under 200 words. Yeah. Situation,
Yeah.
for a senior management presentation. Examples, maybe paste in a summary style I like.
Exactly. You got it. And Atlassian also highlights similar key areas: persona, task, context, and format. They use a great example where just telling the AI you're a marketing manager, persona, and that you need social media copy for a new product launch targeting millennials, context, that gets way better results than just asking for generic social media stuff.
Right, right. So the more detail and context we feed it up front, the better it gets what we need. But what are the common ways people mess this up? What mistakes should we try to avoid?
Yeah, there are definitely some recurring pitfalls. Our sources hit these again and again. First big one, vague prompts.
It's not specific enough.
Exactly. Broad, open requests like write a story or explain quantum physics. They just don't give the AI enough direction. So you get something unfocused, often not that helpful.
Right, because write a blog post could mean almost anything, couldn't it? Depending on the topic, who it's for, the goal.
Precisely. Another common mistake is overloading the AI, trying to cram too much into one single prompt.
Trying to do too much at once.
Yeah, like packing in every single detail or asking it to do multiple complex things all together. That can actually confuse the AI, makes the output worse. It's usually better to break complex stuff down. We can talk about prompt chaining later. That helps here.
Okay, that makes sense. Like giving someone too many instructions at once, they're bound to miss something, right?
Exactly. Then there's a really crucial one, leaving out essential background info. Context, basically. If you don't tell the AI about the audience, the tone you want, the purpose of the request, any relevant details, it's kind of flying blind. It can't tailor the response properly.
So if I want an AI to draft an email to a client, I should definitely say who the client is, our relationship, the email's topic, and the tone, professional, friendly, whatever.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. And the final big mistake, skipping the review process.
Just taking the first thing it spits out.
Yeah. Even if you think you wrote the perfect prompt, you have to look closely at what the AI gives back. Check it for accuracy, relevance, is it complete? And then be ready to tweak your prompt based on that first attempt to get something even better.
Okay, so those are the main traps. What are some quick things we can do, like right now, to write better prompts?
AI tools actually summarizes some nice quick fixes.
Yeah.
Focus on clear, precise instructions. Make sure you include relevant background details, audience, purpose, that kind of thing.
Right.
For more complex stuff, maybe use structured formats in the prompt itself.
Right.
Like bullet points or numbered lists to organize your instructions.
Okay.
And crucially, always review and iterate. Tweak your prompts based on what the AI gives you back.
So it's not just fire and forget. It's more like a back and forth or refinement process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, our sources offer some really good tips for actually crafting those better prompts. A key one is just use natural language.
I'm just talking to it.
Pretty much. Think of it as having a conversation. The more your prompts sound like how people actually talk, the better the AI usually understands what you mean.
That's good to know. Take some pressure off, feeling like you need to speak some special AI code or something.
Definitely. And it's also important to be as clear and detailed as you can be in the instructions. Avoid those super open-ended prompts that leave too much room for guessing. The more specific you are, the more targeted the results will be.
But we also said don't overload it. So there's a balance, right? Detailed, but still concise.
Precisely. Yeah, aim for clarity and conciseness.
Right.
If the request is really big or has multiple parts, think about breaking it down into smaller, more manageable prompts. Atlassian had that good example.
The social media one.
Yeah, taking a vague do social media marketing request and making it way more specific. Identify the platforms, the key message, the call to action you want. Much better.
And this idea of a conversation. That seems really important. You don't just send one prompt and cross your fingers.
Exactly right. Use follow-up prompts. Refine the output. If the first try isn't quite right, give it more instructions, ask it to clarify something, or try a different angle. It's iterative. It's a dialogue.
I also saw a tip about using specific action verbs. That sounded useful. Can you expand on that a bit?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Using active, precise verbs makes your prompts much clearer. AI tools actually breaks them down nicely.
Like what?
Well, for analysis tasks, use verbs like analyze, compare, evaluate. For creative stuff, maybe generate, create, design. If you need research, try investigate, research, find. For explanations, explain, describe, define. Choosing the right verb really helps the AI zero in on the task.
That's a really actionable tip, like giving the AI a very clear job title for that specific request.
Exactly. And another thing, if you have a specific format or style in mind, our sources strongly recommend including sample outputs right in your prompt.
Oh, like give it an example.
Yeah. It gives the AI a concrete reference point. Could be the structure for a report, the kind of tone you want in the writing, maybe how a list should be formatted.
So it's like saying, hey, I want the result to look and feel kind of like this example I'm showing you.
Precisely. And like we've touched on, always try to keep it clear by focusing on one main objective per prompt if you can. Avoid confusing it with too many demands at once.
Right.
And finally, just remember that reviewing and improving is constant. Look at the AI's response, think critically, how could my instructions be clearer, more complete, more specific, better structured for next time?
Okay, great. We've covered a lot about crafting good prompts. Now let's shift a bit to putting this into practice. What are some key strategies for actually using effective prompting in our daily work?
Well, structuring your prompts well is key. Atlassian points this out. Be clear and concise, yes, but make sure you include all the necessary context.
Okay.
They have that useful example of asking for client feedback on a project. You need to clearly state who it's for, the specific purpose, what key areas you want feedback on.
So it's not just the words, but also how you kind of organize the request, the overall structure.
Exactly. And it's really worth saying again that iterative process is vital. Refining, adjusting based on the output. That's how you get the best results. Sometimes even tiny changes in wording can make a huge difference. Don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah, try different phrasings.
And the strategy of putting examples inside the prompt, that seems particularly powerful for really guiding the AI.
Right, several sources mention that.
It really is. It's just a very direct, clear way for the AI to see your expectations for both the content and the format. Section AI, the Reddit folks, they both highlighted how well that works.
Now, this concept of prompt chaining that came up in the Reddit thread sounds intriguing for more complex stuff. How does that work?
Prompt chaining. Yeah, it's basically breaking down a complex task into a sequence of linked prompts.
Okay.
So instead of one giant complicated prompt, you use the output from prompt #1 as part of the input for prompt #2, and so on.
Like steps.
Exactly. It lets you guide the AI through a more logical, step-by-step process. Kind of mirrors how you might tackle a complex problem yourself, gives you more control, lets you refine things along the way.
That makes perfect sense. Like building something complex, you handle the individual parts first, then put them together.
Precisely, yeah.
This has all been incredibly helpful. Now, for listeners who are thinking, okay, I want to go deeper, where would you suggest they look to learn more about prompt engineering?
Yeah, good question. Our sources actually offered some excellent starting points. The Reddit community really recommended Anthropic's official prompt engineering guide.
Okay.
And also the guides from OpenAI. Those are seen as really solid places to get the fundamentals down.
And for more structured learning.
Right. If you prefer courses, platforms like Coursera and LinkedIn Learning, they have dedicated prompt engineering courses now. And of course, YouTube is just full of tutorials, demos, discussions, loads of stuff there.
I noticed Ethan Mollick's name popped up too.
Yes. Ethan Mollick, his book, Co-Intelligence, and his blog were mentioned frequently on Reddit. Seen as really valuable for understanding the bigger picture of working with AI and mastering prompting techniques.
Yeah.
And for just seeing how people use this stuff in the real world. There's a YouTube playlist called How Do You Use ChatGPT, where people share their practical strategies. That can be really useful.
And what about actually practicing? Any tools for that?
Yeah, AI Tools mentioned the God of Prompt platform. Apparently it has interactive exercises and gives you feedback to help you practice and improve your prompt writing skills.
Wow, okay, so it really sounds like there are plenty of ways to keep learning and getting better at this.
Absolutely. It's a field that's moving fast.
Well, to sort of bring this all together, It seems crystal clear that AI prompting isn't just a niche technical thing anymore. It's a really crucial skill.
Mm-hmm.
Fundamentally, it's about giving clear contextual instructions to guide these AI systems effectively, to get the outcomes you actually want.
That's right. And effective prompting, it's not something you learn once and you're done. It's an iterative process, right?
Yeah.
It means understanding those core elements, knowing the common mistakes to avoid, and just continuously adapting, refining your approach based on what the AI gives you back and what you need next.
So for you, the learner, maybe the best next step is just start experimenting. Take some of these ideas and actively try different prompting techniques when you use AI tools.
Yeah, jump in.
Think of it as learning a new way to communicate, a really powerful tool that can seriously boost how you learn, create, solve problems, all that good stuff.
And just remember, getting good at prompting. It's an ongoing journey, really, a journey of exploration and refinement. There will always be new tricks to learn, new ways to see what's possible with AI.